Hello and welcome. My name is Aiden Shields and I am the Sports Moron. It is Monday, October 17th. Just finished watching all of the Bills-Chiefs game from this past Sunday, and it was not at all really what I expected. I had kind of anticipated the Bills pulling this one out, but I didn't expect it to be such a low-scoring affair. Only 44 total points scored between the two teams. When these two teams typically play each other, we're expecting each of these teams to be in the 30s to 40s in terms of the amount of points that they can put together against the opposing defense. And we got a different kind of vibe in this game, and I really enjoyed it, actually. I didn't really need the big, high scoring, high flying offenses. I mean, they were still there. They just didn't put up the same amount of points that we typically see. And I'm okay with that. It was a really entertaining game to watch just because these are the two of the best teams in the NFL through 6 weeks of the season. So the Bills ended up winning this one 24-20, and it came down to the last drive of the game for the Chiefs in order for the Bills to kind of pull this one out. But I mean, it was really a matchup just between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. In this game, Josh Allen was 27 for 40 passing. He threw for 329 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also carried the ball 12 times for 32 yards. And then Pat Mahomes, he threw for 25. He was 25 of 40 passing. He threw for 338 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions as well. Those 2 interceptions, in my opinion, are the reasons that the Chiefs were not able to win this game. The first interception was on their first drive. He had kind of extended this play in the red zone. They were on like the 7-yard line, I think, and he was scrambling over to his right, waiting for a receiver to kind of break open. Nobody really did, so he just kind of lobbed a 50-50 ball to one of his receivers, and Kaiir Elam was able to pick the ball off in the end zone. Tough for the Chiefs, really, because they didn't have they had the chance, they just didn't capitalize on their opportunity to score. And when you're playing against the Bills, you can't just let opportunities like that slip through your fingers. So Kaiir Elam saved the Bills from a touchdown there. And then later in the game, with about a minute to go after the Bills had just scored and made it 24-20, Patrick Mahomes kind of does a pump fake and then throws the ball, and it allows Taron Johnson to come in and pick the ball off and essentially seal the game for the Bills. And really, I think the Bills' defense was one of the biggest factors in why they were able to win this game. So I already talked about how these teams didn't put up the typical numbers that we tend to expect. So the Bills' offense did not put up a ton of points, right? They scored 3 touchdowns and had 1 field goal. And it was really their defense keeping the Chiefs in check that allowed the Bills to take over this game and win. Late in the fourth quarter, with about 6 minutes left, it was 3rd and 6. It was 3rd and medium in the Chiefs' territory. Patrick Mahomes has the ball, and they're trying to drive and get on the board, because at this point they were winning. It was 20-17 Chiefs, and Von Miller comes off the edge and did exactly what Von Miller is supposed to do: shut out games. And he sacked Patrick Mahomes, forced a punt for the Chiefs. Bills marched all the way down the field, and Josh Allen threw a touchdown to Dawson Knox to put the score at 24-20. And then with just about a minute left, the Chiefs had to drive all the way back down the field in order to try to score a touchdown. But I think on the second or third play of that drive, that's where Patrick Mahomes threw that interception to Taron Johnson, and it just kind of sealed the game. Now, this was a back and forth game. Nobody really was dominant per se over the other team, and I think that's kind of what we all sort of expected. It was either going to be a shootout or it was going to be a low scoring sort of back and forth style game. And it was exactly that. It was a 24-20 game. It was very close the entire way. And the last thing I really want to talk about in this game is neither one of these teams is like going to drop drastically or rise drastically in terms of power rankings, right? I just did my power rankings yesterday, and the Bills were the number 1 team, Chiefs were the number 3 team, and nothing's really going to change here. These are two really good teams. The Chiefs lost by 4 points. They're not going to slide back because a better team beat them. And the Bills aren't going to move anywhere. They're already the best team in the NFL. I don't think the rankings here really change going into week 7. And one final note is Harrison Butker actually set the Chiefs franchise record for the longest field goal in Chiefs history at 62 yards. He pimped the thing too. It left his foot and he like turned around, like didn't even watch it go in. I mean, that thing would have been good from, I think, like 70 yards based on just how high it was when it went through the uprights. That dude's a stud, and it was his first game back after being injured and out for a little bit. So it was good to see him come back and kick such a long field goal. Whenever you see somebody lining up from the logo in the middle of the field, I just get so excited because, man, what if they actually fucking nail this thing? And he did, and it was awesome. It was awesome. But I love it when the Bills and the Chiefs play each other because realistically, like, back in the day, and I mean back in the day, like 10-ish years ago, 15 years ago, it was the Patriots and the Colts were like the two big rivalries because it was Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, and every time those teams played each other, fireworks and just awesome game all around. You're starting to see the Bills and the Chiefs kind of develop the same rivalry. It's two of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL currently going head to head. And it's just so fun to watch. It's so fun to watch. Just really appreciate every time these two teams step on the field. I'm sure we're going to see another matchup between the Bills and the Chiefs in the playoffs, and I'm just so excited to see what that matchup will bring.